Okay, I'm going to do a derivation of the continuity equation in cylindrical coordinates. This is the differential equation for conservation of mass for fluid flow. We'll need this equation for an upcoming exact solution to the Navier-Stokes equations. Also, most CFD solvers have the option of working in cylindrical coordinates. For example, you will solve a variation of this equation if you select axisymmetric flow in CFD software. We're going to derive this equation from first principles. Oh, and by the way, all the PDFs of these presentations can be downloaded at my website. In cylindrical coordinates, we start by defining a cylindrical axis Z. Then an arbitrary point at RZ theta is defined by three coordinates: the radius from this axis R, the axial location Z, and the angular location relative to some baseline. At an arbitrary point in space, we have three velocity components. The velocity vector is Vr in the radial direction, Vz in the axial direction, and V theta in the angular direction. V theta is sometimes called the swirl component. Cylindrical coordinates are particularly useful for analyzing flow in pipes as well as other round geometries. The main reason I'm doing this derivation is because we will need to use cylindrical coordinates in an upcoming analysis of laminar flow in a round pipe called Hagen-Poiseuille flow. And we use cylindrical coordinates because the boundary wall conditions need to be specified at a fixed radius. At the pipe wall, in other words, at R equals big R, we have the no-slip and impermeability conditions, so Vr, Vz, and V theta equals 0. And using cylindrical coordinates makes it easy to handle these boundary conditions. Of course, there are other options. You could use spherical coordinates if you're analyzing a round geometry, say like a bubble. However, in this course, we won't be using spherical coordinates. This derivation involves a mass balance for flow into and out of a differential control volume. The control volume has dimensions dr, dz, and arc length r d theta. It's located in a general flow field where the velocity and density are functions of r, z, and theta, and possibly time. So for the most general case, the flow could be unsteady and compressible. Let's start by considering the mass flow rate in the radial direction on the lower face. Recall that mass flow rate is density times velocity times area. So on the lower face here, we have density rho, the radial component of velocity, and then the differential area, r d theta dz. Again, notice that this distance here is the arc length, r d theta. So the differential area of the lower face is r d theta dz. So in other words, this area. Now consider the mass flow rate out of the control volume in the radial direction. So we have the same term as the inlet term here, rho Vr r d theta dz, and then the rate of change in the r direction of this same term, rho Vr r d theta dz. And notice that we've left the differential area inside the brackets because dA depends upon r. Now, it's just a bit of a cleanup. D theta and dz do not depend on r, and they can be brought outside of the brackets here. So that's what I've done. So that's the mass flow rate out of the control volume in the radial direction. Okay, now we do the same thing in the theta direction, in the swirl direction. The mass flow rate into the control volume in the theta direction is rho v theta times the differential area r dz. But now the differential area is this area. And again, the outlet flow is rho v theta times the differential area times the rate of change in the swirl direction in the theta direction of rho v theta d theta, again times the differential area dr dz. Now we repeat this in the z direction. The mass flow rate into the control volume in the z direction is rho vz times the differential area dA, where dA is r d theta dr. So this area. And the mass flow rate out is rho Vz r d theta dr plus the rate of change in the axial direction, in the z direction, of rho Vz times dz. Again, times the differential area r d theta dr. So here's a summary of all the mass flow rate terms that we just obtained. We have the mass flow rates in and the mass flow rates out on the r, theta, and z faces of our differential control volume. Now we can do a mass balance on our differential control volume. In Chapter 3, for a finite-sized control volume, we showed that the conservation of mass can be given by this expression. Now, the first term here is the rate of mass storage in the control volume. So it's the time rate of change of the integral of rho dv. Now, rho dv integrated over the control volume is just the total mass in the control volume. And so the rate of storage in the control volume equals the rate of mass flow rate in summed over all the inlet faces minus the rate of mass flow out summed over all the outlet faces. Now, as we discussed in Chapter 3, this is just very simple mass accounting. The rate of mass storage is just equal to the rate of mass flow in minus the rate of mass flow out. Now, in this case, for our differential volume, dV, the volume dV is the arc length dr times dz. So just the height times the depth times the width of the control volume. Now, for a finite-sized control volume, you have that di by dt of the integral of rho dV is the mass storage term. However, in this case, in our problem, we have a differential volume which will ultimately shrink to a point in space. Recall that a differential equation applies at a point, so there's really no volume to integrate over, and this term simply becomes di rho by dt dv. And we can make the substitution here for dv, which is what I've done. This becomes di rho by dt times the differential volume r d theta dr dz. Now this can be substituted back into our continuity equation, and this is what I've done. I've rewritten this equation on the next slide. So this is the continuity equation with the rate of mass storage term that we just obtained. I've also reproduced the summary table with the inlet mass flow rates and the outlet mass flow rates on the r, theta, and z faces of our differential control volume. Now, notice what we have to do is we have to take the rate of mass flow rate in minus the rate of mass flow rate out on each of the faces, and then sum them and set them equal to the rate of mass storage in the control volume. So let's start with the r direction. If we take the inlet term minus the outlet term, we just end up, this term cancels with this term, and we end up with the negative here. And so that's the result. Similarly, in the theta direction, when we take the inlet mass flow rate minus the outlet mass flow rate, this term cancels with this term, and we get this result. And finally, in the z direction, if we take the rate of mass in minus the rate of mass out, we get this term canceling with this term, and we end up with this result. Now, these three terms need to be substituted back into the right-hand side of our continuity equation, and that's what I've done here. You can check my algebra. Now, in this equation, each term contains dr, d theta, dz, and so we can divide through by dr, d theta, dz. dr, d theta, dz. dr, d theta, dz. And then you're left with this r here. What I've done on the next line is I've divided through by r and canceled those terms. This is the general continuity equation in cylindrical coordinates. So that's the final result in its most general form. In the most general case, it can be used for unsteady, viscous, or inviscid compressible flows. And of course, for incompressible flows, we have density being a constant. We can simplify this equation. Because density is a constant, it doesn't change with time. And we can move the density outside of the derivative in each of the terms. And when we do this, it can be canceled. And when we cancel it, we end up with this simplified version of the continuity equation, which is the continuity equation for incompressible flow. Now, recall, as we discussed in Chapter 1, for external gas flows to be treated as incompressible, the Mach number must be less than about 0.3. So this version of the continuity equation can be used for both unsteady and steady incompressible flows. I thought I'd end with a video I took a few months ago on the island of Maui in Hawaii. While freediving, I found this cleaning station. This is where turtles come to get their shells cleaned by fish. There were 10 green sea turtles hanging out in one spot. This was the highlight of my trip. There's something very beautiful and calming about green sea turtles.